look. Next, sadly these days it's not that uncommon to hear stories of cats and dogs in need of new homes because things haven't worked out. But if we're talking tigers, suddenly things get more complicated. 5 tigers were in need of a new permanent home after a circus agreed to give them up. Jeremy Stern followed their journey to the Isle of Wight.
Guadamar in southern Spain. An animal welfare group is rescuing a collection of big cats being kept in appalling conditions. David van Gennep is from Animal Advocacy and Protection.
If you're thinking about lions or tigers, you're thinking about magnificent animals in a beautiful environment where they are strong and powerful. And then you come to this facility where they are with 8 animals all together, cramped in a very small enclosure. Completely clear that they have had no food. It was dirty, it was smelly, the flies were all around the place.
All were born in captivity and put to work in a circus.
The life of those animals is not nice. The training of these animals is horrible. The circus never stops. And the animals are the entertainers of the circus, so they have to work day and night.
Okay, 2, 1.
Once old and past their entertainment sell-by date, they're often discarded. These cats were found stressed and mutilated.
Their claws had been taken out, their teeth had been cut off. So these animals are really in a bad shape. Tigers are not social animals. They don't want to live together. They cannot live together. So if you put them together in a cage, then you know that there's trouble coming up.
The tigers are taken to AAP's base in Alicante. All the animals have been rescued. Some from circuses, others from the illegal trade in wild animals. A few simply abandoned pets.
You see these animals in distress, you see the animals all near to death, and then finally we find a way, we find a way to recover them, to rescue them, and to give them a good future. So for me this is, well, a very rewarding moment.
AAP has asked zoos around Europe to rehome 5 of the tigers that were rescued in Guadamar.
This is Natasha and she's Sopa. They're 2 females. And then we have also Antonella, that is the one that is on the back of the enclosure.
2 males, Girona and Mondo, make up the 5.
They are recovering pretty well, they are doing pretty fine. They came extremely emaciated. They were, especially Natasha, she was in really, really bad condition. Now they are in pretty good shape.
The tigers are ready. They just need somewhere to call home. Somewhere like a small island off the south coast of England. The Isle of Wight Zoo's been owned by the Corney family since the 1970s. Charlotte Corney has grown up around big cats. She's agreed to rehome all 5 of the Spanish tigers.
You're even warmer than us.
With their arrival imminent, there's lots to do.
Excitement, maybe a little bit of stress mixed in. It's just bursting now. We really just want the cats to be here. We want to welcome them. Obviously the animal carers want to get to know them. I'm really lucky because I've been out to see them in Spain, so I kind of know who's coming.
Back in Spain, they've decided flying would be too stressful for the tigers. Instead, it's a road trip of more than 1,000 miles.
It's a very long trip. First we're going to drive towards Barcelona. There we're going to pick up a 3rd driver, and we're going to need that driver because altogether I think it's about 40 hours or something like that before we end up in the Isle of Wight.
The tigers go into their cages happily enough. But it all takes time. And they leave later than planned. A couple of hours in, a problem.
Natasha was very stressed. We had to stop and we had to give her some sedative in order to ease her down a little bit. because she was hurting herself too much. It worked very well because in a while she put herself down and she fell asleep.
They press on through Spain and France. Debbie Smurthwaite is on driver duty.
It's very moving because every bump you think, oh no, poor tigers, you know? It's like when you go with little children. So you suffer for them, and because of with the heat, I think we kept it more or less under control.
I'm Teresa, we need to follow the screen.
Heavy traffic around Paris means yet more delays.
You're saying there's no
For the
early...
moment, no, I just called for...
We were supposed to have a train at 9 o'clock in Calais, but instead of that we had our train 12 o'clock in Calais, and therefore we had to rush.
After crossing the Channel and driving to Southampton, the ferry ride finally gives everyone the chance to rest. But Natasha's had enough.
You never must to forget that they are wild animals.
At just after 4 a.m, the famous five arrive in Sandown.
The butterflies in my tummy because, yeah, it's been looking forward to it for so long. It's all a little bit surreal, to be honest, that they're actually here in person. You know, so. Antonella doesn't look like a morning person at all. Hi, guys.
The last few steps prove to be the trickiest part of the journey. Finally, the tigers step into their forever home. Not all circus animals get such a happy retirement. While zoos are often criticised as inappropriate places for wild animals, for old circus animals, naturalist and broadcaster Chris Packham says there's no alternative.
I'd much rather these animals were out in the wild, of course I would, but they can't go back to the wild. They're not afraid of people, it would be disastrous. They might be poached, but whilst they're here, they can excite people. These are nature's greatest masterpiece. You know, the hairs on the back of visitors' necks will stand on end, and they will be awestruck by them.
The zoo's now working closely with the charity to resettle more abandoned animals.
I'm going to leave here with a very good feeling. This is exactly what you hoped for these animals after the suffering they have gone through.
They will be wrapped in cotton wool, they'll be doted on, they'll be adored, they'll be loved, they'll be respected. They're going to have the best of vet care, the best of food, the best of everything.
I think everyone, you know, felt something at the back of their throat when they saw those old boys come out and in the sunshine and dip their toes in the pool. That's brilliant.